For many with an interest in history, coming to Normandy is much like a pilgrimage, and we can thank movies like Saving Private Ryan and Band of Brothers and even The Longest Day for helping increase our understanding of what happened leading up to the events of D-Day and thereafter, and leading to so many of these graves being here today. One of the things that I've learned as an author who has written about World War II is not just to understand the stories, but to get to know some of the people that are involved in the invasion of Normandy. And instead of just thinking about the people that may not have any relevance to you, I would recommend that you get to know someone who has some personal relevance to you. I would do a couple things in here, and I'll show you one of the things that I've done to help make my experience here at Normandy a bit more powerful and more meaningful. So to find someone in Normandy who may have some personal relevance to you, what I'm suggesting you do is go to the American Battle Monuments Commission website. That's at abmc.gov. Now what you'll do at this particular point, you'll click on this button right here, which is BMC Burials. What that will do is give you a list, a listing or a way to search everybody who is buried in an overseas cemetery or memorial. So you can search for somebody. It's a little easier, however, just to download the results. So you'll click this button right here, and it takes a little bit, so be patient, but you'll end up getting this. And it'll download everybody who's buried in an overseas cemetery. So once you get that downloaded to your desktop or to your computer, then it's an Excel spreadsheet, so you just open it up into Excel. Let me open that for you right here. This is what you'll get. So what I have done is sorted it by cemetery. This is sorted by the Normandy American Cemetery, and I also sorted it by state. So this lists all of those people who are from Utah who were buried overseas. And what I did, I selected this guy, Carl Yarnton, a staff sergeant from Utah. And so that's where I start my search to try to find out more about Carl H. Yarnton. I'm going to start with search results on Family Search. FamilySearch.org is a great site for finding all sorts of historical records, and I put in Carl H. Yarnton from Ogden, Utah. That much I know about him. And this is what I come up with, and I see a bunch of things here, and I've already clicked on this, but to give you an idea, I've got a bunch of things that I can learn about him here in this particular website. So this happens to be, it looks like a registration for voting. So that's one source. I've also got his Army enlistment here, which gives me when he went into the military. He was a machinist. He was single at the time. He was in the Army, a warrant officer, so forth. It gives me all this information about him. And then I can click also. This looks like it's a census, so this information gives me census data about Carl H. Yarnton. This was taken in 1930. He was 9 years old. And his birth year was 1921. His father's birthplace, Kansas. So I'm getting a little bit of information about him. I can see that he's the oldest. He's got another younger brother, Earl, and a younger brother, George. So this helps me kind of flesh out who he is and more information about him. You can also go to Ancestry.com and find more information about him. Military records, city directories. There's all sorts of information, rosters of dead, of U.S. war dead during World War II. Again, all this information is public information that you can dig up on him to find out who he is. And just to put it in a nutshell, here's all of what I found about Carl H. Yarnton. He was born on April 4th, 1920, in the same hospital I was born. He grew up in this house in Ogden on Lincoln Avenue. I've driven past it 100 times. He graduated from Ogden High, where my dad, my mom, and my wife went to school.
He served in the National Guard right out of high school from 1938 until 1940. Then he started working as a machinist apprentice for the Union Pacific Railroad while he attended Weber State University, the same school where I got my degree. He married Marjorie Gorman, and in April 1942 he enlisted in the Army. When he reported for duty, he was assigned as a paratrooper with the 507th Parachute Infantry Regiment and trained at Fort Benning, Georgia. It was during that time that he found out that his wife was expecting a baby. But he was shipped out to Ireland, where he trained in anticipation for the invasion of France. His son Mark was born in early 1943, but Carl only saw him once. Carl's first mission was on D-Day, June 6, 1944. His unit was assigned to help secure a defensive position around the Cotentin Peninsula. Sometime during the pre-dawn hours, a bullet struck him in the head, killing him instantly. His family was so proud of Carl, and they had high hopes for him finishing his degree and going on to a successful career. His parents likewise expected him to give him many more grandchildren. But their hopes and dreams were dashed in an instant, and the lives of Carl's son, parents, siblings were never the same. Carl is just one of 9,387 who were buried in Normandy. He was a real person, just like everyone here, and this is his marker, Plot E, Row 15, grave number 16. So if you plan on visiting the American Cemetery in Normandy, look for his marker. Better yet, take the opportunity to find someone from your area, and do it before you go so you'll have a greater purpose when you go. Then, when you see row after row of markers, you'll know that each marker represents a person who was loved, a person with families, aspirations, and fears. Yet despite it all, they did their job willingly.